Hello, hello, and welcome. I am Julian Greystoke, and we're about to get salty up in here. I am, of course, wearing my salt shirt. I asked quite a while ago, actually, for people to share their unpopular bookish and writerly opinions with me, and I got some answers. Now, of course, my patrons will get priority as far as making sure that their unpopular opinions get shared, but I think I got everybody this time. But just in case, know that if I ever do things like this, and you're a patron, know that if I wind up with too many replies, your replies will for sure get read. I am going to be being extra cautious with this one. I have hidden even from myself who said these unpopular opinions because I don't want any hate happening to these people on Twitter or in the comments or anything like that. If you hear your unpopular opinion and you want to identify yourself in the comments, feel free to do so. But otherwise, I'm keeping it a secret. And keep in mind that as we read these salty thoughts, I might not agree with all of them. These are the thoughts and feelings and opinions of my viewers. So, they're in no specific order. Alright, I'll try to make sense of these if I can.
Hey guys, this is the world's fastest reminder that you can support me on Patreon and see all kinds of exclusive videos like these ones. Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
The first one is, I think, possibly my only writerly unpopular opinion, but this person said, I don't rewrite my whole piece. I write my draft and edit it, rewriting is hard for me to say, and reworking what needs doing within it. I've heard the advice, writing is rewriting, and how you're supposed to scrap your first draft and rewrite the whole thing several times. Screw that, I have a story to finish and other shit to get done. I agree with this, I do. Now, there are some stories that I would rewrite, like the one that I wrote when I was 13 years old. There's no saving that. I'm gonna have to completely rewrite that one. But I am in this person's camp. I don't think that you have to completely scrap a first draft and rewrite it from the ground up. If it's a pretty solid first draft, you can just make tweaks and repairs and tighten it up along the way. You don't need to do a total rewrite. The next person said, I only made it about 3 paragraphs into Pride and Prejudice. Also, Moby Dick would never have been published today. What do you mean you have 3 chapters about different kinds of whale oil? Hard agree. One of the things that I'm struggling with my publishing journey right now is that I'm trying to find a way to make my stories go even faster and be even more engaging, because the publishing climate right now seems to be driven towards stories that don't waste any time with other things in them, and 2 chapters about whale oil would not fly in publishing today, so hard agree. This next person says, the Harry Potter fandom is more interesting and valuable than the canon. Oh, that's some salt. I can feel the heat off of that already. And let me just say that I also low-key agree. Honestly, the fandom is more engaging than the books themselves. Fight me, whatever. The fandom adds so much value to these books that if they were left alone, would we even think anymore that they are the amazing pieces of work that we think they are? Or has the fandom built them up and helped them and made them so much greater than they were by the mere presence of the fandom? It's circular, it's a whole thing. Discuss in the comments, please. Alright, this person says, fan fiction is probably better than real publishing. I'm not 100% certain what they mean by this one. Do they mean that fanfics are better than published books, or do they mean the process of publishing through fanfiction is superior to publishing, say, traditionally, or even self-publishing? And if it's the second one, I do kind of agree, because fan fiction makes it so easy for you to find what you're looking for. Like, you can go on AO3 and punch in the keywords and find pretty much exactly what you want to read today. And if we could publish that way and make money off of it, and that would be acceptable, you know, to publish actual original content in the same way that we publish fan fiction, I think that would be really great, because right now you can kind of do that. Like, you could go on Amazon and search for something that you maybe want to read today, but you probably won't find it, and there's so much like that you have to wade through, whereas the keywords and everything on those fanfiction sites are so much more precise, and all of us fanfiction authors have really got it down for like what tags we need to use. So I kind of agree with this if that is what this comment means. If the person who wrote this one feels like identifying themselves, comment below and let me know what exactly you were going for with this one. Next, there is too much YA and low fantasy on BookTube. It's nearly impossible to find vids for books I have read or want to read. There's a lot of YA on BookTube, a lot. Adult fiction just doesn't get as much love. Classics just don't get as much love. Part of it is because a lot of booktubers are younger, and so they are coming off of very recently reading YA themselves, and with YA becoming more popular with adults as well, this is really the time of YA. So it's understandable why there's so much YA on BookTube, but I can totally get why it would be very frustrating for somebody who like wants to find people who are talking about adult books or classics or something like that. I do recommend that this person check out Stripped Cover Lit if they are interested in people who are talking about classics in a very literary and scholarly way, as while also simultaneously being sort of assholes. So, you know, my kind of thing. But if you guys have any suggestions for this person, drop them in the comments below of BookTube channels that are talking about adult, that are talking about classics, that are talking about high fantasy, things that are different from what we, including myself, mostly talk about here on BookTube. Oh, somebody's coming for authortube. This one says, most authortube advice seems pretty pointless to me. I don't know who most of these people are. Most of them look like teenagers. Oh, they're coming for the teenagers now. I'm not trying to be harsh, but most of it is pretty empty air. Anything decent I have come across is something I have already read. I'm not anti-authortube, but I think it's very confused in its purpose. Ho! Ho! The tea is real, my friends, and I kind of love the tea. Like, even if I don't necessarily agree, I love when people are salty and not afraid to be salty. I'm like, oh, you angry. I love it. I kind of agree and I kind of don't. I do agree that authortube seems to skew younger, but I have found quite a few more my age and older authortubers. They just maybe don't get as much notice, as much love. I think a big problem that they have is that they maybe aren't as present on social media as the younger teenage authortubers, so that's a big problem with finding them. Maybe that's at least a possibility. But I have found quite a few authortubers who are my age and older. You just kind of have to find them. They do tend to be a bit smaller. I get what this person is saying about like authortube being kind of confusing, because you're getting a lot of advice from people who aren't maybe necessarily professionals. So you're getting people's advice, including mine. I'm the same way. People's advice from their own experiences, and that's pretty much it. And with so many different ways to write in this world, it's really hard to parse out what's useful for you. So I do agree that it can be very confusing and hard to figure out like what is authortube for. I still love it on authortube, and I probably won't stop making authortube videos even if they do confuse people, and even if I am just giving sort of anecdotal advice from my own experiences. Hopefully you guys like that. If you don't, tell me, I guess. This next one says, Catcher in the Rye is boring, so is Perks of Being a Wallflower. Coming of age tropes should grow to be more than just young boys thinking, I found a pretty girl to date and I'm nihilistic. Again, the salt, and I agree. I didn't mind Perks of Being a Wallflower. I think I read it when I was too old to really be the right age to properly enjoy it, because I read it well into my adulthood, and I thought it was okay. I do agree that I am getting pretty sick of the, you know, socially inept boy comes of age by finding a girl or something like that stories. I think we are starting to lean away from them a little bit more, at least in what I read, so that's good, but I think that is a tired trope scenario thing. They also say Wuthering Heights is an overrated Harlequin romance. I don't know if I agree with that assessment, but I hated Wuthering Heights. I had to read it for school, and I hated every moment. I tried to read it like a physical book, like you're supposed to, and I could not. So I listened to it, even though for school you weren't supposed to do that. You weren't allowed to listen to the audio for some reason, but how are they going to know that that's what I did? Because I'm really good at absorbing audiobooks. But even then, it was torture. I don't know if I agree that it's a Harlequin romance, but it was bad for me, and apparently this person too. Alright, this next person is coming for Harry Potter again, you guys. The salt, the tea. Harry Potter was great growing up, but looking back on it, there are tons of flaws that make rereading the series painful. Same. I loved it when I was younger, but I really have no great urge to reread, especially the later books. Every now and then I pick up Prisoner of Azkaban because I personally feel that it is the most solid, the most self-contained of them. Yeah, I agree. It was great when I was younger. I still love the fandom. The fandom is entertaining. You know, I sort things into Hogwarts houses, so I'm not done with Harry Potter. But I do think that it was better for me when I was younger, and now rereading it is just, I can see the flaws. Speaking of flaws, again, I'm just gonna keep plugging fucking Strip Cover Lit. They should really start paying me for the advertisement I've been giving them. Boys, go over there if you want to watch two adult men tear apart the Harry Potter series. If that is something you want in your life, go watch it. This person also says, I DNF'd Game of Thrones because it wasn't enjoyable to read, not because it's dark, but because of the writing style. And they also say, I tend to have no interest in love subplots. So I haven't even started Game of Thrones because I know that it's not going to be my thing. So I can't agree or disagree. But I also am not super interested in love subplots. I include them in many of my books simply because it feels like to sell to most people you're supposed to include a love subplot. But we need more books without love subplots. We need to start making it clear to publishers, making it clear to agents that people want to have some books, not all books, some books that don't have love subplots in them, romance subplots. This next person says, oh, this is another writing one, some writers who have imposter syndrome are right to have it. Oh, it's so salty. Oh, I love it so much. I'm not going to comment on that one because it might be me that they're talking about. And if they are, damn, I can't even be mad though. I can't even be mad because it's so salty and I love it. This one, I don't know much about these books, so I'm just going to let you process the comment and just let you make your own opinions because I haven't read these books. But this person says, Tamlin deserves better in A Court of Mist and Fury. I don't know what that means, but maybe he does. I don't know. The first book wasn't great, but it wasn't awful either. Come the sequel to ruin everything, and it's usually lauded as the superior of the three. Besides Feyre, I think that's how you pronounce her name, I know these only through osmosis. The protagonist being an overpowered, whiny piece of trash. Oh, I feel like this one's going to get some hate. You see why I didn't include people's names in this. Besides being an overpowered, whiny piece of trash, the worst thing about this book is the blatant love interest swap. In the first book, Tamlin was our average golden boy with his flaws and everything, and Rhysand was downright Machiavellic? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Torturing and abusing Feyre for his own interests. In the second, Rhysand's prior behavior is excused under some predestined love bullshit, and he turns into the love interest, while Tamlin is villainized for all his past actions, when all he has done is behave in a credible, flawed way. Feyre and Rhysand's shitty actions get excused under PTSD, but Tamlin doesn't even get that consideration. Oh, I don't know about these books, but I know about the fandom. And this one is for Memories of Idhun. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but I don't know anything about this book too, so I'll just read. This is quite a phenomenon in Spain and Latin America. There are comic books, atlases, and it's apparently become a show on Netflix. 3 teenagers who are secretly a dragon, a flying snake, and a unicorn are tasked with saving the parallel world of Idhun. I don't know. 2,259 excruciating pages. Holy fuck. The love triangle is unbearable, although the ending is original because the girl stays with both boys and the snake boy gets himself another girl. These people are usually too stupid to live, and the trilogy cranks up to infinity the chosen one trope. Basically, everything that happens in these books is prophesized, especially the love triangle. The characters don't have an ounce of agency to get themselves out of their own stupidity. However, I really like the woman's standalones far more than her series. I don't know anything about this series, not even through osmosis, but this is real salty, and so you know. I love it. And finally, we have, I am less and less convinced that the hero's journey is our best blueprint, if that makes sense. I do kind of understand that. A lot of people rely on following the beats of the classic hero's journey, and maybe it's time to start stepping away from that. Maybe it's time to start finding other beats to follow in our stories, forge our own path, discover our own thing. Nigel's tail is in my face. Nigel, he also likes some serious salt here. So thank you guys, everybody who shared their salty opinions. If you shared an opinion and you didn't hear it today, it's just because I probably missed it while I was collecting all of these opinions. So please ping me. I might have another video coming up where I can share your salty opinion. And like I said, if you want to own up to those opinions, feel free to out yourself in the comments, but I will not. Alright, I hope this video was enjoyable to all of you. I hope that you are all nice and riled up now. I love people being crabby. I don't know why. It just makes me stupidly happy. I think there's something wrong with me. I don't know. I guess it's kind of like I realize I'm among my people. Let the hate flow through you. So guys, if you liked this video and you want to see more like it, remember I post new videos here Mondays and Fridays, and my channel is chock full of content, including more than one video of my own unpopular opinions, so go check those out. You'll know who made those unpopular opinions if you want to come after me. If you liked what you saw here but we're hoping it would be higher quality, you can support me on Patreon, where all of the donations are going towards getting me better equipment, helping me keep this channel chugging along. All the links to my social media are in the doobly-doo for ease of your clicking, and Nigel and I will see you again next time with whatever it is we happen to be doing next time. Bye!
Well, hey everyone, it's shout-out time again. I'm here with this month's patrons, Lennox, Amanda, Thalia, Jenny, Kim, Lisa, Sabby Panda, Sam, and Sarah. Thank you all so much for supporting me. It means a lot.